pressure at all.
Hey guys. Oh, too low. Hi. This belly. Like every live starts with me grabbing my belly and panting. But here we are. So tonight we are going to be doing a fun trifecta tutorial.
We didn't give anybody any warning that we were going live at all.
Not
we
today.
just kind of.
Here we are. Surprise live.
It's kind of life these days.
Kind of winging it. Winging it.
Last season of winging it.
That's right. Today was a long day of planning. A lot of fun stuff planning for the barn loft and just for the new year and for the shop. It was a good day. So if you don't know who we are, we're the Rustic Girls. My name is Katie. This is my mom, Patty. We co-own Rustic Redemption right here in Granite Falls, Washington, which is, I got hot glue on the table, which is an antiques and gifts and home decor shop here. We just love, kind of our motto is new life and lost treasures. So we're always finding new ways to repurpose things and relove them and give them a new life story.
I'm freezing.
I know, it's funny because I'm sweating. We got the heat blasting for her and I'm like, hormones, I guess, right? Either you're cold or you're hot. Can't win with being a woman. But we also are getting ready to launch the barn loft. I said there, but the barn loft, it's coming later this month. It will open up December 26th. So it's super exciting. Join the wait list on our website, therusticgirls.com, so that you don't miss out when it opens. This will be an exclusive beta launch price. You get to be kind of our guinea pigs. You get to kind of give us feedback and help us learn and grow as we try this new thing. Return, you're locked in at a fantastic price. Yeah. We'll open it up. It will close before the barn loft opens in January, and then it will be closed for probably 4 months while we kind of work up the kinks and figure out and make sure we know kind of how we're going to move forward. And then it'll go up when it reopens. So this is a great opportunity to get in ground floor at a great price.
Get a feel for what it really is, and kind of
great price, yeah.
And get in it. It's like the coupon price or
the coupon price. Coupon.
I don't know.
Coupons. What's that?
Well,
I don't use those anymore.
Yeah.
They're like novelties. You watch the extreme couponer shows and you're like, coupons? Really? Those things are real? I remember my grandma talking about them. So we couldn't launch it. We wanted to launch in October to give you the spiel again, and our shop flooded. Womp womp. And we couldn't launch it. And so we had to delay it to January, and we decided, you know what, during the holidays, we're going to do a bunch of extra tutorials. This is just going to be one of the aspects that we will do in the barn loft starting the new year. So here we are. We've been doing a lot of ornaments, a lot of fun stuff. They are uploaded on our YouTube channel. If you look for the Rustic Girls there, as well as you can just, if you like scrolling, you can scroll through Facebook and find them. But here we are tonight.
So, if you're watching us now, we'd love for you to say hello. And if you're catching us on the replay, you don't have the little life up in the corner. That's on the replay. So we do go back and read comments, and we'd love for you to say,
Hi,
I'm here on the replay, or hashtag replay, however you want to do it. Let us know that you were here, and if you find any value in this, we'd love it if you'd share it.
Sharing is caring. It helps us grow, and we love sharing things that we've learned, and so so we're going to dive right in here.
All right.
I think we'll start with the traditional, maybe.
Okay.
And then we'll do yours, and then I'll do mine.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start with this little guy. He's more of the traditional Christmas. You've got cinnamon sticks, the nice Christmassy flannel, candy canes. It's very just your classic Christmas. Very timeless, too. So that's the one we're going to start with. For this one, we are using a wide mouth pint mason jar. Size-ish mason jar. So pint, wide mouth.
You could replicate this. You could do it on a tinier level in a little half pint.
You just need a skinnier ribbon.
We just thought a wide mouth gave you a little more room to kind of spread these things out.
But yeah, so you could do it smaller size, narrow mouth. This would just affect the amount of candy canes and beans you're using. So we got the mason jar. We've got cinnamon sticks, little guys. We've got our flannel-y ribbon. And then we've got
Navy beans.
Navy beans. These are white and just pretty.
And you could use whatever.
Nice earthen
There's,
texture.
you know, just think about, I mean, a lot of it is going to dictate by what color ribbon you use. So you might want
White's
a
clean
different
and
color.
fresh, but you might like something a little bit darker, a little bit warmer. Yes, so
Coffee
definitely
beans, lots of choices.
coffee beans are a fantastic smell. So yes, that's what we're using, and a little bit of jute. We're going to use it too, or twine. I don't know why. In my head, this is jute, and it will always be jute. But we're going to use that to tie the cinnamon sticks. So we're going to get started. Oh yeah, and our handy dandy glue gun. Hey, you got my guns. I've noticed lately, I'm like, I do guns in a lot of lives. It's my thing. Still my signature move. So for this, we're just going to do your base. And if you work quickly, you're not going to have to do a second thing of glue, which I'm always a fan of. Less is more when it comes to hot glue, because hot glue is hot and it makes webbing. So you wrap it around and then just press down firmly to really get that top layer to
squish that glue through.
Squish the glue through. Squish it through. Squish it through, ladies, and just push it down. I give it a little extra time because I want to make sure that that ribbon adheres really well. The best part is, at the end of the season, you're like, I want my mason jar back. It's hot glue. It's not permanent. So you can just pull it off and clean it up. We didn't get the candy canes. We're going to have to grab those.
Oh, I forgot the extra candy canes.
And then for the cinnamon sticks, I like to hot glue them together because I like to be really controlling about how they're going to turn out. You don't have to do this. You can just tie them together and wing it. But I'm like, I want this exact precise angle, and so I'm going to hot glue them so I can dictate exactly how these are going to look. And then tie the twine around the middle. Just makes it feel a little bit more finished. In my opinion, I think it looks nicer. A little less plain. I think it felt incomplete without it. Boop. And then scissors, you're going to trim your extra twine there. You don't need to be too long. I just knotted it. You could tie this in a bow if you want. I think it's just a little more rustic feeling, knotted, but a bow is equally cute. And I'm going to do it over where the ribbon met, just to kind of help hide that seam with some more hot glue. And then we're going to push it down. We're going to hold this because it doesn't have a lot of contact area. So I really want to make sure as much as possible is connecting, and then I want to make sure it hardens before I let go. So, because once it moves, hot glue don't play.
No.
Once it moves, then it immediately cools instantaneously and ruins your project.
Yes.
That's how hot glue rolls. So, last, we're going to fill it with the navy beans. It's not very last, but it's kind of the finishing piece de resistance. I'm curious what y'all are up to tonight on this lovely Tuesday evening. My husband went back to work yesterday.
Oh boy.
I'm making a mess.
Beans are flying.
My husband went back to work yesterday, and so this is the first day at home, but the second full day I've had the kids all by myself. And so it's getting in that learning which day of the week it is, back into routine, and also being really, really, really tired. You don't realize, like, I didn't realize how much I was counting on him until he was gone. And then I was like, dang, I want my Manny back.
And you know, the thing about these are a perfect little like desk decoration. Just a little spot that just needs a little something. But you know, if you're at work and you have a desk or a little station or whatever that just needs a little bit, this is just a fun little
it's nice
filler.
And it's contained and it's pretty, and especially I think of all like the bank tellers that have their little mini. Yeah, this would be really cute. So I filled this about 3/4 of the way. There's no exact science to this. And I'm gonna stick my candy canes in, and I feel like there's not enough beans for my taste, so I'm gonna add more. And a lot of this is up to personal taste, you know. And if I had more candy canes, I would use less beans. Less candy canes, more beans. So
I use, I think, more in this one.
Yeah. Do you see how many beans I'm getting on the floor versus in the jar? Are your eyes twitching because you're gonna have to sweep it up?
No.
And there we have it. There is our traditional candy cane holding festive.
And the best part is if people, you know, snag some, you can always just refill it.
I love it. This is so cute.
And this would be a fun, like, teacher gift.
Oh yeah, great.
You know, anybody. I mean, you know, anybody that you need a little something for, or your mail carrier, or you know.
Especially if you're giving it to them, the kind of people that you give stuff to before Christmas.
Yes,
these are perfect for those kind of people because it's very festive and sweet feeling, and they don't take a ton of work to make. They don't take a ton of materials, but it's handcrafted, which I think feels special. So, Sis here is going to take over with her.
So mine is a little more kind of on the primitive, very rustic, outdoorsy. So I didn't even put any filler in my jar. So we've just got some tall cinnamon sticks, and these are actually fresh greens, clipped off the branches. You could equally use artificial ones.
Yep. If you want to dye.
Yeah. So,
sidebar too, if you're using artificial and you still want the smell, I know there's a lot of really like essential oils and other scents out there that
you could just add some drops.
Yeah, you could just add a couple drops, have that really like that fir or pine. I don't know.
So this would be fun too. You know,
smell.
you could make this feel even more of the rustic outdoorsy if you added maybe a couple tiny pine cones or something more of that
nature.
You know, I
take the nature route.
Yeah, take that route.
I took over the table, so she has to run and grab her materials because that's how I roll. These little guys are so cute. I'm curious. We just did a little bit of Christmas shopping last night. We're almost done, so I'm curious where y'all are in your Christmas shopping. I feel like
I will need scissors.
Yeah. I feel like this time of year it just kind of steamrolls. Like one day it's 20 days till Christmas, the next day it's tomorrow. It's Christmas.
So how I got I don't know if you can see that really well. That's actually coffee grounds and cinnamon. And so I just take my coffee grounds out of my little filter basket, and normally I just air dry them, but today I did it in the oven on about 200 degrees, just on a baking stone, and I just spread them out and stirred them around every little bit just to get them dried out. I was kind of rushing it, and I kind of liked that rather than having that mess sitting out trying to dry.
Especially if you have kids around.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was actually, you know, if you just do that, I usually kind of, the reason I dried them air dried is because I would just kind of keep adding to them and stirring them up, and, you know, I would wind up with a big container of them to use for projects, but I didn't have any on hand, so that's dried coffee grounds, and then when they got dried, I just stirred a little cinnamon in just to give them a little
the cinnamon
taste. So what we're going to do is we're just taking a basic jar. No! Dang it.
Phone call.
And I'm
my
just
phone wasn't muted.
going to put some glue. And I like that one, it's not perfectly even. It's just kind of randomly, and I just am spreading.
Kind of channeling your kindergartner.
Yeah, just kind of a general, you know, around down to the bottom, because you want it to get down to that base. But spread that glue. She's always got to pull me back into the camera.
She's camera shy. And again.
And this is just.
Dang it.
This is just all-purpose glue. And it worked pretty good. Again, another thing I did today for first time, loved the result, was, oh, I forgot my tray of stuff. So I'm taking this dried coffee grounds and I'm just sprinkling it to coat and like turning it
glitter.
Yeah, it's kind of like a primitive or gritty glitter. Yeah. Just coating.
Just make that and bag it up and sell it. Gritty glitter. Coming soon to a
Rustic glitter
near you. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Rustic glitter. I'm sold. I'll buy some.
And just coat that. And, you know, I would go around a couple times because you get those thin spots that it falls off and there's still glue surface. And just get it all on there. And so normally at this point, you would want to let it sit and dry, or what I did today, because I didn't feel like it was drying fast enough to be ready to have one done for you to see, is I turned the oven back on to 200 again, and I just set this jar on the oven rack, and I don't know, it was maybe in there a half an hour, and it's like
I cured it.
Yeah, it's like baked on now. It has a really nice texture to it. It feels really adhered.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna forge on, not forage. But typically you don't want to do anything at this point. You want to let it sit and dry, because when I start messing with it, it's gonna start shifting all that, and
yeah, you gotta be careful.
So this one we're gonna do our best, and then I have, you could use twine, ribbon, whatever. I went for, I periodically will get a package of cheesecloth, and when I'm doing a batch of staining, I will coffee stain, tea stain, a batch of that, and so I can use it for more primitive type projects.
I feel like burlap is like the official fabric of the farmhouse, and cheesecloth, tea stain cheesecloth is like the official fabric of primitive.
So I'm just cutting a long strip, just this,
not even like an inch wide.
Yeah, not maybe even a half, you know, and it's very rudimentary cutting. Cheesecloth is very hard to do anything.
But primitive is so forgiving. It loves it to be thicker and thinner in different sections.
Right.
And it just, that's the look you're going for anyway.
So, kind of wishing I would have just pre-cut this. But
I pre-cut all my ribbon.
I kind of wishing I had it. I thought about it, and then I thought, oh no.
Kind of like cutting nylons.
Don't do that. It is. It's kind of...
it tries to move on you a little bit.
And so I have like a pretty long piece, and so I'm just kind of folding it over, and then I'm going to snip it. And the thing is, it's got some stretch and give. So just kind of gauge what's going to go around your jar.
Right. And you're doing that because cheesecloth, once you stretch it, it's going to get pretty thin and pretty, like see-through thin, not in a good way. And so you do that to kind of double up, give it a little more oomph.
So since my stuff is kind of wet here, I'm going to tie this up a little higher than I want it, and then I'm going to push it down to the top, just to the line.
So if you were in a rush, this would be how you do it.
So I've got that on there now.
Yeah.
And then I found these, like, just some kind of little embellishment. Again, like I said, with Rustic, more outdoorsy. You could do little pine cones or little nuts or little things like that. What are those little, we call them helicopters?
Oh, those, I call them whirligigs.
Yeah, those little things that
they come from trees. Maple? No, not maple.
Oak? Maybe? No, we don't have oak here, really. I don't know what they come off of. If you
know, like a rectangle, and you throw it, and
woo, you know, those little deals, they spin down. That would be really cute too. I have these little rusty pieces that we use a lot for different things.
The rusty embellishments.
And so I first just put that on there, and it kind of blended in. Mm-hmm. And so I came back, and I thought a little bit of, do you have that hot glue?
I do. It's hot. It's dripping everywhere.
So I just added a little bit right in the area where I tied it. And then I just tucked the little stem of that in there. And then we're going to go with the heart this time.
Okay. And those rusty embellishments you can get at places like Michael's, Hobby Lobby. A lot of craft stores carry the little tiny.
And you know, we had a really good supply of them. So
we had them in stock.
I've had them in. I think we're about out now because between what people have bought for projects and what we've used for workshops and whatnot and projects, they're pretty cleaned out. So that's on the list for something we need to replenish for the new year. I'm going to trim this a little bit just because I feel like it's a little...
And that's personal taste.
So again, you can see I bumped it. Again, that's why you want to wait until this stuff is cured before you really start playing with it much.
Yeah.
But if you didn't and you messed up, and I recommend you wait until this is cured, but you can come back, put a little bit of glue in those spots, and then hit it again.
Yeah.
But it's easier if you wait until this is dry.
Show patience. I really recommend the curing though. I've never seen it come out quite as nice as
yeah,
that.
I love that.
Like, it doesn't feel like it's ever going to come off.
And you know, that's how we learn new things.
But I will say this, it doesn't feel like it's ever going to come off, but it is still craft glue.
Yeah. Soak
it in some water and wash it. This stuff will still come off if you want your jar rag.
If you felt this was going to be, if you were going to put this out on your porch or something, I would spray it with like a poly or something. Yeah, clear seal it. Just because the moisture will...
It'll do what it does.
So we've just got some greens
picked from our
just
yard.
Randomly snipped off, and then
these are like this. Where do you get these super tall cinnamon sticks?
So these I found years ago. We had this conversation on one of our ornament nights. I was using them, and I feel like it was a crafts. To be honest, I feel like I got them when you were pretty little. And there was this craft store in Everett, near where we lived.
A craft store, but no guarantees, guys, because this was like 2 decades ago.
But I'm sure they're still available. Yeah. You might have to hunt a little harder. So those are just
super long cinnamon sticks.
It's on my list to scout out more of them now.
Which has a nice fresh scent. Again, you could use filler like coffee beans or something like that to add, or rose hips to add a little bit more if you want it to smell nice, more nice, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't put any kind of filler in there. I just went for super simple because it's you don't see it
that much anyway.
But you could always do that.
All right,
super easy peasy.
Sorry, paint you. So last but not least, we are doing the sweet rustic farmhousey candle mason jar. So again, we're starting with our basic mason jar. I've got 3 LED timer candles, which are amazing. Some jute to tie those together. I did rose hips because they smell good and they have a little bit of red. We're keeping it subtle because I think with the farmhouse, a lot of times you're just going subtle, but I didn't want using the burlap and the neutral ribbon. I didn't want it to feel too blah. Like, we're not doing the all white farmhouse here. We're doing like a little bit. And so I got my burlap strip and I've got this really nice ribbon. It's just got really great texture to it.
I love that.
I know, it's got, yeah, you can kind of see it now. So it's just, I like adding texture. If you're going to use similar colors, I think adding texture is huge and making it still feel interesting and not just like, wow, this feels kind of like a hospital white. I will start with the burlap. Again, I'm doing the same as before. I'm running a strip of glue and then sticking it down on either side. Because I like my fingertips, I'm not even going to push it down until I get that other strip. And then we just push it all down. So 1 strip of glue, 2 edges of ribbon. That's how I get it done. I'm going to trim. Working with, if you got a burlap ribbon, you wouldn't be having to do this, but like I said the other day, we have a ton of ribbon, and I believe in reusing when you can. So I'm actually not going to go on the seam because I feel like that's just going to draw more attention to it. So with my second ribbon, I'm going off the seam kind of around the corner from the burlap seam, and it will just hide it and make it blend in. And for the second one, it's too thick for me to layer it. So I'll go around and I'll have it meet up, and then I'll hot trim it and hot glue it so it just kind of lines up. Because otherwise you'd have this big lump. Nobody likes lumps.
No, not in their gravy especially.
Or in their belly when they sit down. Can I get a witness? Okay, so I've trimmed it, and I've attached it
hot glue strings, how?
I have removed all the hot glue webbing from it and not me. So I forgot to get my keys at a time in all my planning. Really quick here, guys.
Isn't that cute on there? That's what she's digging for right now, some old keys. People come in and ask us. Some people don't. Some people totally get it. They're like, old keys? Do people buy old keys? Or what do people use? Yeah, is this a thing? What do people use them for? And it's like, oh my goodness.
That one says gas.
Embellishments, jewelry,
that one's cool.
wind chimes.
There's so much you can do. So I've grabbed 2 fun looking old keys. Grabbed a handful of them I used to. And running on the back of the metal. For the first one, I'm going to run it most of the way because it's actually going to stick down to the majority of the jar. Pressing really firmly. Because it's got a little more weight, I used extra glue. I really want to smush it into that ribbon and the burlap. Just really make it grab on. Once I've done that, I'm going to grab my secondary key. And that one I'm only going to do it kind of in the middle because it's only going to be, it's kind of an angle. So you can see both keys. Plus it would just look weird to have it dead on. Am I right? So there we go. We have angled the keys.
Cute.
Yes. So fun. So, last step.
Oh my gosh.
We have one good hot glue gun and one hot glue gun
And we
that,
always
like,
manage to grab the drippy one.
drips everywhere. So it's like hot gluing my rose hips together and stuff. So I'm going to start with, well, first I'm going to tie my candles so they're ready to go for me. To create that tri-level, I'm using 2 of our large ones and 1 of our short ones. And I'm just kind of creating that. And this one I'm doing, if you notice, I did 1 with the whites, and I thought it might be fun to do 1 with the blacks, just to kind of create kind of a different look, to see what else you can do.
And just a practical tip. So these are timer candles. So when you twist them on, they come on, and if you leave them, they will run 6 hours, shut themselves off, and then come back on the next day. So if you're making this at noon, you might want to wait until, you know, 5 or 6 o'clock and add your candles. So that way you're not having to re-pull your candles out and reshift everything
just
again.
to do it, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And these last quite a while.
Yeah.
So especially, I mean, it should get you through the holidays.
Through the whole holiday season.
Once you put them in. So yeah, just choosing that timing. So I've tied it pretty tightly with that twine right at the base of the candles because I'm going to try to hide it with the rose hips. And that's just to hold them at that kind of 3-tiered, creating that visual interest. I'm going to start with adding some rose hips to the point where I know it's at the height. I think I'm going to need more rose hips. We'll see.
And again, you can use whatever for these fillers. You know, it's just trying to come up with some variance in color and texture. So if you don't have rose hips, you know, think like
you could use like, I don't know if you'd use real cranberries, but you could use like cranberries or red beads. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important in this one, if you want to go super neutral. Yeah, I'm short some rose hips. Could you want to grab me a few? You can, but you're gonna feel really neutral. And I'm always a fan of just adding a little bit of color. If you went with like a neutral color jar filler, I would recommend doing something that has a really interesting texture to it, just to create some interest. I'm waiting for her to grab those rose hips. We can add that, and I'll go and trim this burlap. But yeah, I mean, play with your fillers. It's what that can kind of affect the feel of it in little ways, depending on which direction you want to go. Some people are a fan of the super neutral, super white farmhouse. More power to you if that's what you love. I think this is going to be about a scoop and a half, maybe a scoop and 3/4 of rose hips, all in all. And I'm just kind of tucking and wiggling a little bit so it gets them nestled down in, so I don't have the string from my candles showing. And that is the black candle version of the farmhouse. See it in black and white. Just 2 different vibes, depending on what you're going for. And these smell really good because the rose hips are scented with a spiced cranberry apple. So they smell amazing. And if you got like the refresher oil, you could just like drop 1 or 2 drops every
And so if this
few
was
weeks.
something you wanted to make for yourself, we have the candles and we have the rose hips. So it would just be you putting together the rest of it.
Yes. But as also to be noted, these will be available for sale.
They will be.
So if you're looking for a last minute gift for someone and you're like, I just don't have the time to craft, I got too much going on, we have these. But if you can make them yourselves, we do have the supplies here. And
Some
on
of the
our the candles and the rose hips, for example, for this one. For example, this one, we have the candles and the rose hips on our website.
And the keys.
And the keys are on the website?
No, the keys are on the website. Sorry.
And the keys in the shop. So,
Sorry.
you know, we have a lot of
just
materials.
confusing everything.
They're easy and they're fun, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.
Yeah.
These will, again, it usually trails by a few days, but these tutorials are all going to go up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, so you can come back and check in, and makes it easier to find than just scrolling through Facebook. We will be coming back later this week for another live. We are working on the date exactly, because scheduling gets tight around this time of the year.
Yeah, because what we had already talked about, we realized
wasn't going to work. So yeah, so we will squeeze another one in, share another.
Possibly
we've got a
tomorrow
couple
night.
more,
possibly tomorrow night.
couple more ideas we really wanted to share with you this week. So we're hoping to get at least one more in. But we hope you had a great night, great time with us. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll be back soon.
All right, take care.
Be kind
Bye.
to each other.